What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Climb to Get a Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Scorpio, with my co-host, Deception. Deception, say hi.
What up?
Happy Wednesday, everybody. Shout out to everybody in chat. I know we started a little late today. That's my bad. I overslept this morning, and it just pushed my entire day back by like an hour. So, fun. Um, so yeah, we're just gonna get right into it today. I'll let Deception take the lead as I am still not completely awake. But
It's episode 115, bro.
115.
Fantastic episode number.
Yeah. So
Yeah, sadly I haven't been playing that much zombies lately, but that's because I've had other things today.
yeah, that's okay. I think everybody can understand that you've been busy racing. Congratulations on getting third, by the way, in that trucking one.
It was fun. We ended up winning the team championship, even though none of us got the driver championship. Even though my performance at the end at the last race got me second in points, which was cool.
Ooh.
But we did win the team championship, which was great. We had the most points of any organized team that ran, which was awesome.
That is awesome. I'm really happy for you, man.
Yeah, I ran that race on controller because at the time, because I've only had my wheel for a week now.
Mm-hmm.
I ran that race on controller because at the time I did not have great wheel settings for Forza, and Forza wheel settings kind of suck. They're pretty difficult to figure out, whereas like every other game is basically just like plug and play. Forza's like, oh, it's not that easy.
Well, that's stupid. That's stupido.
Because like every other game I've played on wheel has been like pretty straightforward, pretty easy. Like, I got into doing American Truck Simulator. I've been being a trucker.
That's gotta be fun.
It's a very fun game. It's very enjoyable and kind of relaxing. But yeah, it's been interesting. Learning how to use a wheel and essentially learning how to drive.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have your license IRL, so this is like.
This is the only experience I've ever had essentially driving in a car.
Well, at least this one, there's no consequences, so you can crash as much as you want.
Yeah. I mean, except in American Truck Simulator, you lose money if you have damage.
Well, but yeah. But it's a game, you know? Anyway.
Yeah, I'm not worried about other people's actual lives.
Are you, like, excited to, like, you know, finally use it when you race, though? Like, you think it's gonna, like, really bring some sustenance and some, like, a new level to your ability as a racer?
I definitely think it will over time. I mean, I'm not super used to it yet. Like I said, I've only had it for like a week. So I think I have quite a bit of improvement to do at a lot of the tracks that we're going to be racing at next season in NASCAR. But definitely, there's definitely a couple tracks already that I'm definitely going to use a wheel because I'm already like pretty good and adept at those tracks anyway.
Yeah.
So it's not that difficult of a transition. And also, wheel is just better on some tracks than controller. I would argue, on average, controller and wheel are pretty close in Forza. They've done a good job of making controller competitive with wheel in Forza to the point where you could basically use either one and be really fast. But there's a couple tracks definitely that I'm going to use wheel because I definitely think it's going to be an advantage. But
well, I'm excited to see
should be a
how
good
you
time.
do.
I'm excited to just keep trying to improve.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I don't know, the experience of driving with a wheel is so different. And it's, like, kind of challenging, but it's also fun at the same time. Like, I already knew this going in, but I kind of still underestimated just how much more fun just driving and trying to turn good laps on the wheel is.
Hmm.
Because, like, on controller, like, if I was practicing for a race, for example, I'd probably run, like, 10, 15, 20 laps on controller, and I'm like, nah, okay, I'm good. But, like, on wheel, because it's a completely different experience, I love just, like, running laps all day.
Go, 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 go. Um, that's awesome, man. It's really great seeing how far you've come, like since the beginning of you doing this in the starting in the fall. Sorry, I have like no sense of time. You start this in the fall, or did you start this like in like January, February?
I started in NASCAR. I started the NASCAR league in my first race was in early December.
Mm. Okay.
Um, but like it's been a long journey since then. Like I feel like I've improved a lot.
I think so
Like
too.
um, I mean I joined the league just because I wanted something that was more fun than the the regular like multiplayer lobbies because in the multiplayer lobbies it was like the common like theme of the multiplayer lobbies was either I'm so fast that I just beat everybody, or I get wrecked because somebody's being an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted something that was more something that would test my skills and also a place where I wouldn't just get wrecked just because I was faster than somebody or something.
Mm-hmm.
So doing the NASCAR league was it was kind of daunting in the beginning. Like I feel like I didn't start off bad, but like I definitely could have been better. But I feel like I improved like pretty steadily. Like my initial hopes going into that league was I was like, okay, like I would love to get like a top 10 here and there.
Mm-hmm.
Like it would be cool. Like but maybe like shoot for a win next season or whatever. I don't think that'll happen. Um in the current season that I was in. But like I got my first top 10 earlier than I thought I would. And basically after I'm pretty sure after the first top 10 I only finished outside the top 10 like once. And I ended up at the end of the season, I ended up having, I think, like two or three top fives, which is I didn't even expect to get a top five that season. Um, and then like in the trucks, like obviously, like in the trucks that we ran, I was very competitive. Like
Mm-hmm.
I finished fifth at Daytona, although fifth doesn't really do it justice because I was literally like right behind the leaders. Like if I would have been able to make a couple moves here and there, I win that race. Homestead, I got the largest run of all time on the final corner and was about like an inch from winning the race. and
Those
then
photo finishes.
and then Eagle Rock, I finished third, and I had really good pace. I mean, the two guys ahead of me, like I was, I was like kind of competitive with them, but they were just a little bit better overall on pace. But like, I could tell that I was definitely good because me and those two other guys basically stayed in the top three of the whole race. Like we started in the top three, um, and we basically held it the whole time. Um, so it felt pretty good to know that I was like good on pace to beat most of the field. I just need a little bit more, I think, to win some of the races, and some of the races I just need them to go my way. But
Yeah.
it was it was fun. Um, it was just like it was just so like interesting. Um, to see that I was improving a little bit more than I thought I would. Um, but I mean, that just comes with racing against people that are really fast. Like, there's a lot of guys in this league that are faster than I ever thought that anybody could be on the game. And like, I've been just slowly learning how to be faster and faster.
Yeah. I mean, I can't wait to see what you do this, season. I mean,
I just want to get a win. Like, I want to get a win. Um, and it feels really good because I was actually talking to some of the NASCAR guys last night, and the guy that won the championship last season, actually, he said that if I could find just a little bit more pace here and there, that I'm definitely a contender for the championship next season, which is pretty cool.
that is really cool. But anyway, congratulations, Deception, on killing it there. Um,
I'm excited. The goal is to get better at wheel so I can get on iRacing.
yeah, gonna be the man on that. Um, so kind of moving to our next topic. Um, a big congratulations to OpTic for winning the Halo champions, being the Halo Major champions in Arlington. Which I think is something that we were like expecting, honestly, just because of like this roster being so good. They did like restructure it at the beginning of the year, and they've been playing really well, and I think they just kind of like showed out. Um, and well, Formal just did what Formal does best and wins championships.
I mean, I said it coming into the season. I was like, this is bought. At the very least, this is a top 2 team, and even then, like, I don't know if you're gonna beat this team. And the only other team that I could have seen contending with these guys was Space Station, and they didn't even do that great at the major.
Yeah.
So, like, because the grand finals was OpTic versus Shopify Rebellion, which I mean, props to Shopify Rebellion. Those guys have really come to play this season. Like, I genuinely think those guys could win a major, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
They are really good. They are a lot better than they were last season. Like, they were kind of like an underdog last season, and you still could have seen them that way coming into this season. But Shopify Rebellion was good, but I mean, OpTic was just better. Like, the only setback OpTic had, really, I think the whole event was like they lost one of their pool play games, but like pool plays whatever when you're almost guaranteed to make it to winner's bracket.
Yeah. So, I mean, congratulations to them. Also, Maniac did a um Halo watch party for like the first time, like by himself, the way that Scump does for COD, and I kind of knew it was coming because they've been talking about it like on the Flycast, but like Maniac, like um he's not really one to like like keep up with what he says. He'll say something and then he might do it. He might do it. He might not. Kind of thing. So the fact that he like followed through with it, and it was such like a huge success for him to be able to do that in the Halo space and kind of like now be able to own that as like a former Halo pro. I think that kind of just shows like a testament to like in the gaming space. I mean, as far as content goes, your opportunities are pretty endless. Like even if you kind of like not like completely copy someone else, but like if you utilize what's working for someone else, especially like that is like a friend and they're like telling you to do it, go do it, and like it will most likely be like a success, or it could be a success in the future for you, um just as it was for Maniac. So I think that's something like really cool that kind of like was able to translate. It's just like how the watch parties are coming into play, and like how post pro life is like in the content sector of things, and how viable it can be. I mean, like, so I think
Well,
Scump's
and
making more
especially
money than
for
he is.
Halo, considering Halo's like content is like
So
Halo has
missing.
never been that forward on content.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Scump watch party when they would do Halo stuff, and now the Maniac watch party are probably some of the biggest content pieces that have been done for Halo in like ever.
Yeah.
Like The biggest thing that Halo has always lacked on is content, and the fact that they're coming through and doing some stuff like that helps a lot to get more eyes on Halo.
I mean, we've talked about this before too on a previous episode of the podcast, but like games having creators and content around the games benefits the games, especially these watch parties. Um, because people like the creators, they'll watch the creators, and then they'll be like, "Oh, what is this person streaming?" And they're like, "Oh, we're doing a Halo watch party today." I'll be like, "Oh, cool! I haven't touched Halo in years. Oh my god, this is making me want to play Halo again. Let me get the boys and we'll play." Or like, you know, that kind of stuff. Like it incentivizes people to play, or like they'll want to like, I don't know, they get like FOMO. They get FOMO from not playing when watching these people compete at this level, especially people with like a super competitive drive like myself. That's how they get me.
I mean,
I,
I haven't played Halo in a long time, but like anytime there's a major or something, I'm just like, I want to play Halo. But then like, uh, I just the thing about Halo is like the only content pieces that are ever made is basically around competitive, which I mean that helps, but watching like for at least for me, like if I had Halo content to watch all the time, it would make me want to play Halo more
mm,
and actually get on and play, because that's kind of the issue. Is like I watch the majors and I like watching like the teams compete, and it makes me want to play the game. But then like after the major, Halo's just dead.
yeah, there's like nothing.
Like in between majors, unless there's like open qualifiers or something, there's just nothing. Like people don't really stream scrims that much outside of like the OpTic guys. Like there's nobody really plays anything outside of competitive in terms of like the major streamers on Twitch in terms of Halo. It's 90% of it is just competitive players.
It's
So
true.
like it's just different than like COD, where like on COD like the big streamers are not always playing competitive. Like they're just fragging out in Warzone lobbies in
Yeah,
pubs, or they're going to Black Ops 6 and they're doing camos, or they're just playing
they're
pubs,
actually
also
like
pub
playing
stomping.
the game. I mean, there's a
Yeah, like it's not
competitive.
like all the top COD streams are just like, oh, we're streaming scrims.
No, so I mean, I feel like that's like an untapped market too. Like, I feel like there's a lot of like, unless it's like a major, there isn't a lot of like content in the Halo space. And I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for them competitively in the like in the esports sector, but also in just like the casual, like you mentioned. I mean, that's how you get people into the game long term. I mean, for me personally, there's always COD content for me to consume. I mean, it's just endless. There's no way in hell I could ever watch all of it, or even like a fraction of it, even. So but with Halo, I probably could sit down in a weekend and get through all the relevant ones from the past year.
I mean, there's just in terms of Halo, it's just like on the casual side, there's just nothing. Competitive is like pretty okay. Like I would say competitive could definitely do better in content on in Halo, but like if you're a person that is like hardcore into Halo competitive, you're sitting pretty good on content,
Yeah.
I would say. But like
I
if
mean,
you're
there's
just
always
some
room to
casual
grow, but
Halo player that would love to watch people play pubs like COD players do, like you basically got nothing.
mm, um, so someone needs to step into the space and really take a hold. I mean, it could be me. I could do it, but I'm
Like
also like not a Halo person.
the only notable times I've ever seen anybody do anything in pubs on Halo is like the competitive players going in and pub stomping. Like I've seen
Or like when
um
the game first came out.
yeah, that too. Like one of the big like things I saw in Halo in terms of like just players playing pubs is one time Lucid was streaming and he was playing pubs just in between scrims. And there was a game where they played a Slayer and he got 42 out of the 50 kills in the lobby.
Damn, crazy. But yeah, we need more like casual people doing that though. There needs to just be more content around Halo. I feel like it's really lacking. And if nobody steps in, I'll step in. Screw it. But it's an untapped space that I feel like has like a lot of potential because it is a good game. It just needs that like creator base to kind of like bring it back into the spotlight.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like, look at like like these indie games, for example, like Schedule One. Schedule One would not be as big as it was right now if it were not for the creators that played the game. And I'll stand on that because it didn't blow up until a couple of the bigger creators picked up the game, and now the game like skyrocketed. Now everybody's playing. Not everybody, but a lot of people are playing it. And I feel like that's just like a testament to the power of having content. I mean, that's like it's advertising, it's marketing for the game. So I feel like that's really important. But shit, what was I saying? Yeah. So anyway, congrats to OpTic again for your win. I mean, this is like major win, whatever. They're like the phase in Call of Duty. Like, phase in Call of Duty is them in Halo. Except for people actually want them to win.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, it's like what it boils down to. I mean, nobody really wants FaZe to win, but everyone wants OpTic to win, and I feel like that's also like a big content piece as well. But I could go like on and on about that. I have gone on and on about that on multiple different occasions, on multiple different places with multiple different people about the importance of content and how it ties into esports. And OpTic is a prime example of that. But anyway, congrats to them. Love Halo. Great stuff. Let me look here, because we do have to discuss where is it? Is it not out yet? Hold on. Isn't the like, oh yeah, okay. So we have the official Major 3 bracket. Let me pull this up. I'm not gonna do the fancy bracket today, but I will rewatch. Actually, I will. Let me get my laptop out. Hold on. I wasn't gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it now. Because I realized we do it every single time with a fancy bracket. But also look at the colors of this. This is, I like the blues.
You know what's crazy?
What?
FaZe and Surge were in the grand finals last major, and they're playing in the first round.
Oh my god. Rematch. Okay. Let me pull this up. Let me duplicate it. Oh my god, I'll probably be able to watch it at work while I chop stuff. Beautiful. Okay. So first, we have sorry, I'm just like clearing this. I should have done this earlier. That's my bad. So we have Thieves versus Ravens going up first in the winners bracket. Who do we think's gonna win? Because I mean, Thieves have been like
Thieves.
a little wish-a-what. Yeah. They're just so powerful as a team. Do you think it's gonna be a 3-2 or a 3-1?
I would probably say like 3-1, especially considering Ravens like made a roster change because they've kind of like still been going downhill.
Yeah. 3-1. So I'm like, I'm fixing everything. I only touched this document, the podcast before and the podcast after majors. Okay. And then next we have Heretics versus Ultra. What do we think here?
This is a tough one because you have to factor in the fact that Miami are basically at their home event. I mean, even though technically their home event was Major 1.
We don't gotta talk about it. None of this makes sense. None of this makes any sense.
Why that wasn't the Heretics Major, I really don't know.
None of this makes any sense to me.
Miami have kind of been they've been heating up. They've been looking pretty good, and Ultra have kind of been looking the same. It's not that they've been like that bad or that they've been that good, but one thing that needs to be noted is it hasn't been confirmed yet, but CDL Intel reported on it just a little while ago. Apparently, Beans is having visa issues, and he is not going to be able to play at this event.
Uh-oh. That's not good.
So
that might put a
that's an important note we need to make.
Might put a cog in the machine there.
Yeah, for that reason, I'm tempted to say Heretics, but I think it'd be like 3-2.
Okay.
I still think Ultra would look pretty good. It's just, if they're not gonna have Beans, or obviously, like anytime a team is down a player that they normally play with all the time and they have to make an emergency change, it's tough. So
yeah. Okay. And then we have Breach versus OpTic, which it's great to see OpTic back in the winner's bracket again. Just want to put that out there.
Yeah, but they're the 8th seed.
They're back in the bracket.
Yeah, I think I would take OpTic here.
They have been looking.
I do think it probably will be like a 3-2 because Breach have been looking pretty good too. But I don't know. I just think OpTic are trying to bounce back, and they're finding their footing still a little bit. But I feel like this major is where we really figure out how good this team is.
Yeah, agreed. And then we have Surge versus FaZe. I think FaZe take this. Personally.
I think they do too, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like 3-2.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Surge and FaZe met in the grand finals. It's kind of insane that they're playing in the first round, but
Yeah.
What's also kind of weird is I don't know if we've ever had that happen. I don't know if we've ever had the two teams in a major play in the grand finals, and then the next major they play in the first round. I don't know if we've had that happen before.
I don't think so. Hold on, I'm boosting this up so they can see where we're at. I fixed it, guys. Don't worry. This is our bracket. I adjusted accordingly. So then we're going to losers. We have Ravens versus Rocker. Rocker has been like really bad this split.
Yeah, they kind of fell off. I mean, them and Ravens have fallen off, but like Rocker were still looking like kind of half decent, and then they really just fell off a cliff at this major split. So yeah, I think I would take Ravens because I mean, even though Ravens made a roster change, I mean, Ravens are still they're still pretty good. I don't know if I would say they're top 4 anymore.
But
it's really hard to decipher who is top 4 now because I mean, FaZe and Thieves are definitely top 2. Then after that, it's like anybody could go anywhere.
Nobody knows. Which is good. I mean, I think, I love the depth. I've mentioned this multiple times, but I love the depth that the league has now. It adds a lot more to the viewing experience and just the experience as a whole. I think for everybody, you know, you really never know who is actually going to win. I mean, FaZe is kind of always in the mix, that and so is Thieves. We kind of know that for certain, but you know, there is that always that chance
Yeah.
for an upset, and I think that's really important. But yeah, so then moving on to the next matchup, we have Ultra versus LAG. Um,
This one I don't foresee being an upset. I think Ultra win that one.
yeah, it's probably gonna be 3-1.
LAG are they're just horrible. Like,
Yeah.
I think they're worse than the Falcons at this point. They have a better record than the Falcons, but they're looking worse than the Falcons right now.
Do you think do you think the Falcons could pull one out with Breach or no?
I genuinely think they have a shot. Like, this team, although they have only won one series still, they got that one series win and they just haven't been able to close out some of them. This team just looks really solid.
I think
Like,
I think this is where
as
they
much
make
as
their
people were like ragging on Pred and OpTic, part of me just thinks that maybe that just wasn't a good fit because he looks pretty good on Falcons.
Yeah.
Like they genuinely look like a pretty solid team. Like, I would not be surprised if they get like, I would not be surprised. I do think that right now this is probably their ceiling unless they just go crazy at this major. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a top 6 out of the Falcons.
Yeah.
Like, they look pretty solid now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. I think they definitely are looking better, and I think that's something that we I don't think we ever thought we were gonna say about the Falcons as like a
I
whole.
mean, they finally made the changes that we never thought they would make, and they got better players than we thought they would get.
Yeah, I mean they really put together a solid team. Um and I think that there is room for them to still make it to champs and even place well at champs, which I think is something that a sentence I didn't think I was gonna say, but I mean I'm saying it, so
The thing about Falcons is they just have to I mean, I don't think that it's out of the question yet that they'll make champs, but they have to put up a good placing here at this major, and they have to work really hard to be as good as they can possibly be next split, next major, because I don't think mathematically it's out of the question, especially with the way that these like bottom 6-7 teams have been playing. But it's still, there's such an uphill battle for them to climb that it looks pretty difficult.
yeah. I don't know. I mean I think if they really want it, they can really have it, especially with like our cities being back in the mix. I mean we haven't seen him on like a pro team in a minute. So or a good pro team in a minute. So having this kind of roster around them, I think it bodes well, especially with Clay behind the wheel, you know, as coach. Um, so
I mean, Clay is probably helping quite a bit. I like seeing the XNet is looking like really good now too. Like, I mean, everybody knew he had potential, but like, even with the teams that they have right now, like, I would almost wager that he's the best player on the team. And that's not saying that the rest of the players are not good. It's just he has been performing really well.
it's good to see him. I like it. I like seeing it. Like I said, the more depth, the better, in my opinion, on these teams, and seeing that from the Falcons is really, it's beautiful. It's beautiful that they finally make it, you know, out of like losing every single map. All it took was a roster change, which is cool. So moving into our last matchup of round one, we have Surge versus Cloud9. I think this is definitely like a Surge win. Cloud9 has just been like awful. They've gone really downhill, and I don't know what they're gonna do to come back, but I think that's Cloud9 win. Um, but moving on to losers round two, we have first up we have Ravens versus Ultra. Um, even
See,
without, I
this
don't
one
know.
is difficult because I mean, Ravens just made a roster change, and Ultra are most likely not playing with Beans.
Yeah. So I mean, without beans, it bodes a different situation, and it makes it really difficult to like see like what they're actually gonna do. I mean, do you know who? Do you have like an idea of like who they're gonna replace him with, or?
I mean, the CDL intel said that a guy named Mercules is supposed to play for them, but I honestly have no idea who that guy is. No shade to Mercules. I just have zero idea who that guy is.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that guy's going to be good. I don't know if he's not going to be good. I assume that he's going to be good. I assume that they picked him because they had confidence that he would play well for them.
Mm,
But I just honestly have zero idea what to expect.
yeah, that's fair. Um, so I guess that's we'll have to wait and see on that one. But I think mm, I don't know. I'm stuck on this one.
I think Ravens win that one.
You think
They
Ravens win that one?
I
Especially
just
given the
think
beans.
that I don't know. Like the only way that I see Ultra winning that is if I definitely think Ultra, no matter what happens, probably lose to the Heretics, unless Mercules is like really good and he fits with the team really well. But like I could see him having a rough first round against the Heretics and then goes down to play LAG and looks pretty good, and
Mm,
then maybe they have a shot at beating Ravens. But I think that this is possibly an opportunity for Ravens to make a little bit more of the losers bracket run that we've wanted them to make.
okay. I mean we predict them making losers bracket run like every major. It's like our
I
like
mean, but now I'm
ritual.
hoping for two teams to make loser bracket runs because I kind of hope Ravens makes a good run, and I also hope Falcons gets to at least top six.
Yeah, that's fair. I think it's a possibility, especially with like their lineup and everything. Um, so and then I mean we're gonna go Falcons here. Do you think it's gonna be close or not? Oh wait, oh wait, no wait, hold on. It's Surge versus Falcons. Okay, this is I'm wrong here. Okay. Do we think Surge beating Falcons here, or
This
do
is
we want to,
difficult.
or
Like
do we want to like be like against the grain and say Falcons?
Falcons versus Surge is difficult because Surge, I mean, obviously they made it to grand finals. They look good to me. They fell off a little bit in this split, but I definitely think that they just have a good team on land. Like obviously, like I said, they fell off a little bit on this
Mm,
split. They have kind of faltered a little bit, but they have shown up so much on land that I could see them making a really good run. I don't know. With it being Falcons versus Surge, I'm just tempted to say Surge. Like, I hate it for the Falcons, but like, if this situation happens, um, if this happens and this plays out the way that we predict, it's not looking good for the Falcons. Like, as much
mm-mm.
as people want them to make a run, it's just Surge is Surge is one of the last teams you'd want to see down here.
Yeah, they're very powerful, and the thing is like
Like if
normally
we
they want to
flipped the
be
script and it was like Falcons versus Ultra, I'd be more confident.
also like in this specific circumstance. I mean, Sarge just gets knocked out of winners brackets so quickly that it kind of just screws up everybody else in their path. Just of that like
And
early
that's kind of
face
how
off
they've
against
been doing
phase.
it. That's basically how they've been doing it all season.
Yeah,
Like Surge have constantly been thrown down to the loser bracket, and then they make a run to get the grand finals. Like
yeah. How? I don't know, but they do it. Um, but I think you're right. I think Falcons kind of end their run there. But you know what? They make it out of the first round of losers, which is something they've never done before.
yeah,
And
they actually get a few CDL points.
yeah, which I mean we were not. I don't think anyone was expecting. But I think given Major Four, I think it's gonna be a totally different team, and I think they will actually be able to like make something happen as long as they don't have something like this happen again where they get like kind of screwed in the bracket. As far as
I
like
would
who
be
they're facing
very
against.
intrigued to see what would happen if Falcons made top 8 in Major 4, split and made it to winners bracket. I would be very intrigued.
Me too. So moving back to winners bracket, we have Thieves versus Heretics. I think Thieves takes this one. I think it's quite
Yeah, the
obvious.
Thieves just look so good at this point. Like, I mean, they just, it seems like Thieves have some, like, fatal flaws that could really mess them up.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, they don't have those happen consistently enough for you to bet against them.
Yeah. I mean, unless it's like grand finals, but that's like usually where the most of their like choking occurs as a team.
Yeah.
Because they're definitely like a championship level team, and I feel like um, they could have won a lot more than they have. It's just they're those mistakes and those like habits that they have as a team are that's kind of like where it shows up. And then we have OpTic versus FaZe.
See, this is the rough one because I don't know if I would be willing to pick OpTic against FaZe here. I
Yeah,
think
I
it could
think
be
OpTic's I think
close.
OpTic's not quite there yet as a team.
Yeah, they are not. They're looking better than they did, but not by enough that I would be like, oh, they're back up to top 4 form now.
I
Like,
think it's gonna be like a 3-1 too, unfortunately.
yeah, the thing about OpTic is they seem to struggle a little bit right now in hardpoint. They're pretty good at S&D,
Mm-hmm.
and they're pretty good at control, but for some reason, with a team that has as much slaying power as they have, they still struggle a little bit in hardpoint. So I don't know.
Yeah. So I mean, I think they're definitely gonna put up a fight. I think it might be close in a couple maps, but I do think it'll be 3-1. I think
Yeah, I
just
would be
I mean
willing to bet
overall
that.
FaZe is just a better team at this point in time. Um, and more consistent. I mean, they're the one of the most consistent teams in the league. They constantly are making it all the way to the end, grand finals, or just about. Um, so I mean, betting on FaZe making it is a good bet in my opinion. So moving back down to losers bracket, we have Ravens versus OpTic. Um, I think OpTic had a good warm up against FaZe going into this. I don't know, honestly. I would like to say OpTic, but I think I don't know. I'd have to see how they do. That's the
I
thing
think
is
they
like,
beat Ravens.
you think they beat Ravens?
I think they beat Ravens.
Do you think it's gonna be
I
closer?
really do.
Nah,
I think it'd be like 3-1.
3-1. Okay. Oop. And we'll move them forward. Okay, and then we have Surge versus Heretics. I think I'm gonna say Surge on this one. I think Surge is gonna make another
Yeah,
run.
I would take Surge.
I think 3-2 just because Heretics have that like hometown LAN advantage, right?
Yeah.
So, but I do think Surge is gonna come out on top. I think they're gonna make a little bit of a run. They're gonna make a run here. I mean, they have been making runs through this bracket. And now, like, a hard question is like OpTic or Surge. Like, do you think OpTic really can pull this out right now, or do you think that this is like kind of where it ends for them? I mean, even if like they end it here, it's better, way better than they did last time. Um, but at the same time, like, do you think they could give Surge a run for the money or what?
Yeah, I think this is where it ends for OpTic. I think Surge beat them.
We'll go 3-2 just for my own.
I
peace
think
of mind.
Surge. I think
3-2.
like OpTic are good enough probably to get top 4. With if the bracket goes this way, I think they're good enough to get top 4. But I don't think they can beat Surge yet.
No, I don't. They still have a lot left to figure out. And then we have Thieves versus FaZe. I think this can kind of go either way depending on the day. But usually it goes like this. So statistically speaking. I think that's what's gonna happen. A Thieves phase, like a phase win over Thieves. 3-2.
Yeah, I'd be willing to go with that.
And
I
then
think it's so difficult with FaZe versus Thieves. Like it's obviously it's like a toss up between basically any team at this point, unless it's like Thieves or FaZe versus everybody else. But like Thieves versus FaZe, period. It's like it's just you don't know what's gonna happen when they play each other.
yeah,
Like
true. It really just depends on the day and like how people are feeling, which is like the craziest thing. So what do we think? Do we think Thieves or Surge moving forward, back into grand finals?
I think Thieves be a Surge.
Okay. Mm. We'll go 3-1. So let me have rematch. Thieves versus FaZe. Who do you think is going to be our champion? It's 3 ends.
I think Thieves get their revenge and they get it done.
Yeah?
It's gonna end up being it's a best of 7, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So dude, I would love to see it. I'd love to see it go game 7, but honestly, like if
They
Thieves
can't.
show up and
If they can't take
respawn,
it, they can't take it game 7. If they take it game 7, I think FaZe takes it.
I think that Thieves will be better at respawn and they win 4-2.
God, that's what I had typed out. Oh my god, Deception, we're on the same page. Let's go. I don't think FaZe can take it.
It definitely will be close.
Yeah.
It will, like, I definitely don't see it going any shorter than 4-2.
For FaZe to win. Well, for Thieves to win, they cannot take the FaZe to game 7. FaZe 7 just has too much depth in those game 7s to be able to like just close out right there. Like that's where they have their advantage is that last match and just being able to take people to that last one and just like keep going. So that's what we predict. We'll go over it next week and see where we stand and where we got, where we're going, what we did, and what we're doing here.
Judging by how it's gone, our bracket's probably gonna get busted. There's gonna be something crazy happen in winner's bracket.
Yep. But you know what? I'd rather a bracket bust than it be boring. You know, I like it now that our brackets used to be pretty on par. Like we would only miss like 1 or 2 matchups. But I like that, things it's harder to predict, which I feel like adds betterness to the league.
It's definitely better to have all this parity because like it's more fun watching it because like while I don't like seeing the bracket get busted, it's also fun because like you think that something's gonna happen and it goes completely differently just because of like how like varied the league can be game to game, and it's pretty fun to watch.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, I think we just kind of have to. This is gonna be a good watch this weekend. So if you guys are not busy, or if you are busy and want to have something on in the background, give it a listen, give it a watch. I'll be watching at work while I chop tomatoes, which will be really cool. Said sarcastically. I'd rather be home in my chair watching it or in my bed even. But matches start tomorrow. So and yeah, so we're getting rolling there. Anything else you want to talk about in the pod today, Deception?
I think we're good.
Alrighty. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode of the Climb Together podcast. I've been your host, Tonage Scorpio, with my co-host Deception. Deception, say bye.
Bye.
We will see you guys next time, which will be next week. Thank you guys for tuning in, both in person and later on YouTube, if you're watching this later on YouTube. Also, I'm going to tease this kind of now. Time change for the podcast is indeed coming soon. Still working out the fine details, just based off of my new schedule next semester. I'm not going to be able to stream during the days during the week, and even over the summer. because I'll be working an actual like 9 to 5 job, which will be horrible, but you know, gotta pay them bills. But it won't allow me to do the noon podcast, but that kind of time change will allow us to have more guests on the podcast, which is something that Deception and I have been wanting to do for a while. So we're kind of working out the kinks in that and kind of figuring out who we want to have on and when we want to have them on. But just a heads up, we will be having a time change here pretty soon in the next coming weeks. Sorry to break it to you, but your 12 o'clock podcast is going to, for the first time in 3 years, change time. I hate it. Trust me, I hate it. But I would like to graduate on time and graduate period and pay my bills. So, yeah. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.